Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of From the Wheelhouse. Today we're going to give you some really great information. We're going to have a good time. Seated next to me is Captain Ken Rapier. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mark.
I'm so happy to have him. I mean, I'm telling you, it's going to be a really great show. So get your ink pens and paper out because we're going to give you some information that you're going to be able to share. And we want to make sure that you share this information with all of your friends because we're going to tell you how you can get out there and do some flying. That's right. Well, what are you talking about, flying? This show is about boats, isn't it? Isn't it, Captain Mark? Well, I don't know, sometimes. My name is Captain Mark Stevenson, Captain Ken Rapier. Honored to have you. Captain Rapier is the president of the Tuskegee Airmen's Dodo chapter right here in Chicago. And I'm going to tell you like it is. He's taking some 14,000, is it 14,000 students?
Yes.
14,000 students between the ages of 8 and 18 up for their first flight. But that's not all. This man seated next to me is history walking on 2 feet, and that's because he has been able to not just take children on flights for their first time, but he's been able to inspire them in a really meaningful way. So I'm going to tell you, we're about to get down and give you some good information. Make sure that you join us on the telephone too. This is a live call-in interactive show. I've done enough talking, Captain Rapier. I got to hear from you. Tell me what's going on with the Tuskegee Airmen right now.
Well, Mark, there's a lot of things going on with the Tuskegee Airmen, as always. And of course, our premier program is the Young Eagles program where we offer free, operative term is free, no charge, free introductory flights for youngsters between the ages of 8 and 17.
Wait a minute. Who's paying for the gas and who's paying for these planes?
It's all volunteer program.
Really?
So everybody that works in our Young Eagles program is a volunteer.
Sounds like Captain Mark needs to take a page from this book because we need to have a Young Dolphins program. Captain Rapier and I have talked about it before.
That would be wonderful.
Absolutely. You know, I want to tell you right now, we're going to give this to you more than once, but I want to make sure that you get this information down here. And I want you to grab a pen because we're going to give you telephone number and we're going to give you a website that you can go to find out more information. Captain Rapier, what are we looking at here? This is a Tuskegee flyer.
Yes, this is our Young Eagles flyer, calling all kids to take their first airplane ride absolutely free, introductory flight. For more information, they can call our hotline number, 773-602-2880, or they can go to the Chicago Dodo chapter's website, which is www.tai-chicago, all one word, TAIChicago.org.
Now, in case you didn't get that, as Captain Rapier was saying it to you, I want to make sure that we give it to you again because it's very important that you share this information with some folks. And here's how you do it. Here's the telephone number right here. Who are these people?
Well, interesting that you should ask. Most certainly at the top of that flyer, of course, the picture of the airplane is the famous Tuskegee Airman Red Tail airplane.
Wait a minute, that's from World War II. Are you telling me that you're taking students up in these old World War II planes?
No, we're using replicas. We have a replica of the Red Tail airplane, and then of course we have a picture of one of the original Tuskegee Airmen, and it's a guy who's really famous in Gary, Indiana. Everyone from Gary knows Dr. Quentin Smith. He is no longer with us, but we have a picture of Dr. Quentin Smith in his flight helmet, and then another picture of him after he had retired as the superintendent of the Gary schools and also from the Gary Airport Board.
So if a person calls this number or visits this website, they're going to find out more information about how they could get their children out or their friends out. What if you are beyond 18 years old? Is this only for 8 to 18-year-olders?
Yes, it's not 8 to 18, it's 8 to 17.
Oh, 8 to 17.
And one of the reasons why it's limited to that age group is because we're flying the youngsters in small airplanes. So there's a little bit of a weight limit there. And typically, as youngsters get to be 18 years old, they're filling out pretty well.
Well,
A
okay,
few extra pounds.
Folks, if you have some kids that are over 17 or that are 18 or over, I do know someone who prints birth certificates, and I'll make sure that they pass the test to get on one of these planes. You know, I think that one of the best stories that I've ever heard was from one of your students, a young lady who took her first flight with you at 16 years old and went on to become an administrator. Could you tell us about her?
Her name is Tamra Holmes, a very interesting young lady. When I took her up for her Young Eagles flight, she was 16 years of age, and it was a new experience for her. And I asked her if she wanted to take control of the airplane. And we were flying at Meigs Field at that time. And of course, we were taking youngsters around Chicago, a little sightseeing tour around the city of Chicago. And I asked her if she wanted to take control of the airplane. She said, absolutely. And she took control of the airplane. And then she later on said that this is something that she could do for the rest of her life. So she applied herself to graduate from high school early so that she could register for the aviation degree program at Southern Illinois University.
Wow.
Which she did and graduated. And then when she graduated, the first job that she had was with the engineering firm that was doing the O'Hare expansion.
Really?
So
it's the first job that she had.
Yes.
Okay.
So, and then I heard through the grapevine that she had quit the job. This Landrum and Brown, big, huge engineering firm. So I called her up. I said, "Are you crazy? You quit? You had a job with Landrum and Brown and quit?"
Right.
And she says, "Well, Mr. Rapier, I quit because I'm starting my own company."
Really?
Started her own business, Aerostars. And Aerostars is a program it's been going on for quite some time now, where she is operating an after-school matters program, teaching youngsters about aviation.
Well, you know, I know that she also went on in her career as an administrator too, right?
And she's administrator of her own business, which is part of it is in the schools. So
wow.
She is one of the school administrators as well.
You also introduced me to a young man who became a fighter pilot. I think that he was flying F-16s. Now, yes. I'm not versed at the different planes, so please forgive me, Captain.
Yes.
But I think it was F-16 fighter, this young man who took his first flight with the Tuskegee Airmen as well, and you?
This young man, he is now a major, Major Kenyatta Ruffin.
Wow, a major.
He's an F-16 qualified pilot. Did 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He started with us, and you know I've been very fortunate to run into some very sharp young people that I just they happened into my life, and
Isn't that the way it works?
I gave him his Young Eagles flight, and then we had a program called the Gary Flight Academy, where we were teaching youngsters how to fly up through solo.
I see.
So he went through the Gary Flight Academy, and his goal was to go to the Air Force Academy, which he did. Mm-hmm. And then after he graduated from the Air Force Academy as salutatorian of his class. And that's pretty noteworthy for a young man.
That definitely is. Let me ask you this, and folks, if you have just joined us, my name is Captain Mark Stevenson. Seated next to me, and I'm a boat captain, and seated next to me is airplane captain. I think that's how you phrase it.
Yes.
And this is Captain Ken Rapier. the president of the Tuskegee Airmen, and we're privileged to have him today. Today is a live call-in interactive show. You have a chance to call in and ask a question or give your comment, and the number is right there at the bottom of the screen. So get up off of your behind and get off of that couch and grab your phone and call in and join us. But I want to ask you something very important. You know, Captain, I've known you enough years to be able to ask you this, and I'm not ashamed. Would you marry me? Well, okay,
we're both already married, so.
Well, okay, I didn't mean like that. I like you a lot, but I didn't quite mean it. It didn't come out exactly the way. Could you marry your industry to my industry? What does the maritime industry have to do with the aerospace industry and vice versa? I know that we're both captains, and I know that I live my life in a two-dimensional phase, and that I am on the water, but you live in a three-dimensional world. And we both have to pay attention to weather and things like that. But are there other things now today that...
Oh, certainly. Now, when you say two-dimensional world, consider submarines.
Well,
submariners are in a three-dimensional world.
Absolutely.
However, before there was any kind of aviation, the maritime industry was alive and well. So all of the navigation things that we use, we have in common.
Terminology,
the lighting that we use for identifying the positions on our craft.
You mean the red light for the port side and the
Absolutely.
green lights for the starboard side, and our white lights to indicate what kind of vessel we are and so
Yes.
forth? Okay.
Same thing.
Same thing.
Yes.
You know,
We navigate off of a 360-degree compass.
wow. There is something else today called drone technology. And for years and years, there's been planes and helicopters that fly around. They fly around the boats, and they take these pictures, and you're supposed to write down the website on the side of the helicopter or plane, and you visit that website, identify your vessel, and then pay them crazy money for a still shot of your vessel. Have you been talking to any of your students and colleagues about the drone technology that's coming out?
Absolutely.
Good evening, Captain Mark. How you doing?
Very good.
Hello?
Oh, we got a caller that
Captain Mark,
came in.
I want to say this. It's refreshing to hear about an industry where blacks and Hispanics will not be locked out of an industry. And I was talking to somebody on the other show, and they in La La Land, and I was reporting this report where the City College of Chicago did a 10-year study showing where blacks and browns had been locked out of the trades for more than 10 years, and it shows where $1 billion in salaries. Could you imagine what $1 billion could meant in the black and brown community? And it's good to hear an industry where people of color is not going to be locked out of the industry. When you look at the problems around Chicago, a lot of times it's due to economics because people's not working. And it's good to hear there's some place where someone can find work in.
Well, that's good. That's a good question and comment. Captain Rapier, what do you think about the number of black pilots that are showing up? I just saw last year a picture of...
I'm going to hang up now.
Of a complete... Thank you for your call. I just saw a complete crew of African-American women who ran a major airline plane.
You see, this illustrates the small number of African Americans that are commercial pilots because it was big news when it should be commonplace.
It's 2016 and it's still big news.
Absolutely.
Well, my business is way behind yours in getting people of color onto the waterfront.
Here's an example for you. During World War II, there were nearly 1,000 African Americans that graduated from flight school, the Tuskegee Airmen.
Really?
1,000 of them.
1,000?
Yes. Today, we have less than 400 minority military pilots in all of the branches of the service.
Is that
Less
right?
than 400 today. And in World War II, we had nearly 1,000.
I understand that none of the original Tuskegee Airmen or crew members actually worked in the industry after the war either. So they were able to risk their lives, but they weren't able to get into the commercial end of it and make a living when they came back home.
That's correct. None of them were able to get a job as a commercial pilot working for a commercial airline because of segregation.
Wow.
However, everything happens for a reason, we might say. All of those men who were rejected by the commercial aviation field went into other fields. Some of them became educators,
Yes, yes.
lawmakers, judges, doctors. So our community still benefited from those men.
Captain, I want to show some folks what we have been looking at from the air with drones. And of course, I think that one of the things that people are looking at today are boats from drones. Take a look at this. Right now, you are taking a look at a shot from a Phantom 4 drone quadricopter. And these photos that or videos that you're looking at are something that people are doing. It's commonplace now. It used to be a time when it was very rare to get a picture or aerial shot of your boat or of a party or of anything else. But they're doing this now. You mentioned, as we were talking before the show, that they were using drones for weddings?
Oh yes, wedding photos. Of course, photographers are creative people, so they found immediate uses for these drones. Now, of course, the military is using drones, and the military is always the leading edge for things. But what I predict is going to happen, the drone technology is going to filter into our everyday life. Amazon is planning to deliver packages with drones. But look at what's happening with terrorism on the rise. The maritime industry is at risk for terrorists trying to attack boats. We can protect our boats by having drones flying around the marinas and observing these boats, making sure that they're safe.
Not just around the boats, but under the boats. Yesterday, I found a drone that goes underwater as well.
Drone submarine.
And so the drone can navigate underwater, then it can surface, and it can take off and fly. Never before have we had anything like that. Now this is going to be really huge in the upcoming years. But now we know that there's an opportunity to marry the two industries of the maritime industry and the aerospace industry. If you've just joined us, I want you to take this information down. I want you to make sure that you are visiting the website. You can email us at register at thaichicago.org, or you can just simply call 773-602-2880. We have a caller and we'd like to say hello. Welcome to today's show. Welcome, caller.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. Yes, I have a question for Captain Rapier. My name is Yolanda, and I would like to know, Captain Rapier, what are some of the pros and cons of the drones in regards to the aviation field? Or are there any pros or cons? Could you maybe speak on that a little bit? I was just wondering because I saw a couple of videos where I saw drones being used like in emergency situations. For example, like as an ambulance, bringing medical supplies to people. But I know that there are a lot of people that buy drones for personal use as well. So I was just wondering, what is your feel for those people that are purchasing drones to use for their own personal use, and would this affect the aviation field? You know, is there too much going on in the air or what?
Well, we hope that everyone that purchases a drone will do the right thing and register their drone and take training to be able to operate their drone properly. The biggest hazard would be for drones flying above the prescribed altitudes and running into, say, a commercial aircraft. And you might say, well, a drone is small. If it runs into a large jet, the drone, of course, is going to lose. But if that drone is taken into the jet intake,
Right, like
then,
a bird.
then yes. But see, a bird is soft.
Oh,
So the bird will just go right through that jet intake,
I see. I
whereas
see.
the drone is made out of metal.
And we've heard of
and-
birds bringing planes down, so you're talking about some metal.
Yes.
Metal against metal is not good in the
Not
air.
good at all. Not
Not
good at all.
good.
However, the drone technology has more positives to it. As an example, there are colleges that are offering drone technology degree programs now, because that's what's going to be
Really?
happening
This soon?
this soon. Think of this. Let's say we've got fighter pilots doing missions in harm's way.
Yes.
They're on these bombing missions and possibly could get shot down.
Oh, yes.
Well, the military is prepared to make those F-16s.
Automated drones. Oh, my
So
goodness. Oh, my goodness.
now, if the F-16 gets shot down,
no loss
no
of life,
lives are lost.
except for who the plane lands on.
That's right. So, drone technology, the young people who learn how to operate drones,
Wow.
those are going to be jobs in demand.
Big demand. And not just operate drones, but repair drones.
Absolutely.
I want to switch lanes for just a second because I have to show the public something else here that you were involved in, and I would love for you to explain what we're looking at right here.
Oh, this is the Chanute Prize that the Tuskegee Airmen were awarded from the Northwest Indiana Society of Innovators for our Young Eagles program. And of course, because it's a volunteer program, that's one of the reasons why they recognize our group for team innovation. And the Chanute Prize is a very big thing in Northwest Indiana. So we're very proud of that award. And this is the awards ceremony that took place at the Gary Airport Administration Building. And we were presented with the Chanute Prize. And of course, like I say, it's a big thing in Northwest Indiana. So it was really quite a thing for the Gary Airport. And we operate out of the Gary Airport. So we consider ourselves part of the Gary Airport family.
Well, congratulations, Captain. I
Thank
have to ask you again. I want to make sure that the public gets a telephone number to reach you at. And this telephone number of 773-602-2880. Is that always somebody there to answer? Or?
Well, it's a it's a remote line.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, it's an outgoing message that tells people about the Young Eagles program.
When is the next flight?
The next flight will be a week from tomorrow on June 11th.
A week from tomorrow, June 11th. If you want to get out there on the if I was about to say on the waterfront. If you want to get out there, and we want to make it in the air.
I might make note that June 11th is International Young Eagles Day.
Is it?
There will be Young Eagles rallies going on all over the world
Wow.
on June 11th.
Well, I can tell you, folks, this time just flies by so fast. I want to thank you, Captain Rapier, for joining us today. I mean, I always enjoy you. Absolutely.
It's been a pleasure.
And I don't want to marry you. I just want to marry your industry.
Yes, we will marry our industries and bring some young people into these industries so that they can share the benefits that we have.
Very good. Folks, thanks again for joining us. Can't wait to see you until next week. Mama, get the coffee ready. The kid's on his way.